Cruise news, everyone. Cliff here again with an update on everything cruising. Today, I wanted to talk about a little bit about cruising versus all-inclusive resorts. This is something I get asked about quite often. Should I take a cruise or should I just book an all-inclusive? As far as I'm concerned, these are two very different types of vacation with some similarities. So let's talk about some of the similarities, because I think that it's going to be a pretty short list. Similarities are meals are included in both cruising as well as in an all-inclusive resort. So meals are included in cruises, just like it would be on an all-inclusive resort. And entertainment's provided. Well, there is entertainment at most all-inclusive resorts, just like there would be entertainment on pretty much all cruise ships, at least all the major cruise ships. So that's pretty much where the similarities end. Oh, and of course, you get a room. So I guess we could add that one into the similarities. Other than that, there are two very different types of vacation. In my opinion, an all-inclusive resort is somewhere where you go just like a standard vacation, but with everything included in the pricing, as far as alcoholic beverages. Generally, meals are included. Some of the spa services sometimes are included, etc. So you pretty much get to be in one place. So if you want to go to Cancun, or if you want to go to the Dominican Republic, or wherever else you want to go in the world, then you'd be at that location, and you could explore for 4 days, 5 days, however long you wanted to stay there. Now with cruises, with taking a cruise, on the other hand, this is what I like to call a meta vacation, where you have a vacation within a vacation within a vacation. So the cruise ship itself is, for the most part, they are pretty amazing, especially some of the newer ships that have all kinds of great features and all kinds of great activities on board. So it's kind of like being in an all-inclusive resort onto itself, just being on the ship itself. Aside from that, the reason why I think it's kind of a meta experience is that you're not just going to have the cruise ship to explore, you're going to have a destination to explore. And in many cases, you're going to have a first destination followed by other destinations. So it's kind of like taking 2 or 3 mini vacations all at once. So I think that's something you can't get from a standard resort. So I think a good way to you can experience cruising is you take a cruise to go to places that you might want to go for a longer stay. So I think that if you think about it that way, it might be a pretty useful way to approach cruising. So you take a cruise and you go to St. Martin, you go to Puerto Rico, you go to the Bahamas, or you go to Mexico, etc. And you get to know these different places and see whether or not it would be somewhere you'd like to stay, maybe for 4 or 5 days on a longer, maybe all-inclusive or whatever type of vacation you wanted to take in one of those places. Now, if you go to the island or to whichever destination and you didn't really have a good time, maybe it's not somewhere you'd want to be for 4 or 5 days. So in that case, you get to go to that first destination, and maybe you didn't have as much fun there. But on your itinerary, you'll probably have another 1 or 2 or 4 more, depending on how long your cruise is. So I think that's one of the advantages. So a lot of times, people like to compare prices. Which one is going to be more cost effective? Should I go on a vacation at an all-inclusive, or should I go on a vacation on a cruise ship? Again, to me, it's very hard to really compare it that way. The first thing is, generally speaking, the prices tend to be more or less equal for the duration of the vacation. Once you factor in all your entertainment costs, of course meal costs are included either way, but all your entertainment costs, and once you factor in transportation costs, etc. So once you factor it all in, more or less you're going to be around the same price range. Again, to me, the difference really has to do with the destinations. If you want to be in one place for many, many days because you've been there before and you really enjoy it and that's the only place you want to go to, booking a standard vacation or booking an all-inclusive is probably the better way for you to go. If you want to explore a bit and kind of, especially if you're new to taking, going overseas, taking a cruise actually might be one of the best ways to go. If you're fairly new to traveling overseas, taking a cruise is a good first step in that you get to explore multiple destinations and you get to do it in a very cost-effective way. It would be kind of hard to book hotels and flights to 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different destinations. That can get pretty cost prohibitive. Whereas if you take a cruise, you can take a cruise to 3 or 4 different places, get to explore them a little bit, and come back for a longer stay. I'd like to go into more details in the future on how you can best take full advantage of everything your itinerary has to offer. Planning has a lot to do with that. So I'd like to possibly go into that more in the future to maybe, if you're taking a first cruise and you're wanting to know what's the best way for me to get the best bang out of my buck. I want to go over that to, kind of help out in that way. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and of course, if you have the means, visit my Patreon page where you can help us bring better content to this channel. As I've said before, this is a great amount of fun for me, so thank you. Have a wonderful day and see you next time.